up guys, ETH Yankee here with another Common Arms video, and since I don't really have that much to talk about, I'll probably just be going over the strategies that I use when I play, so you could say this is a tutorial. So if you're going top at the start, you're probably going to want to sniper out like I had, because you're not going to know for sure whether or not there's someone camping on the cliff. And I always try to get into the base, and as you'll see later in this video, it works pretty well if they're not defending their base very well. You also can't just have one strategy, one thing that you do every time, because if you do that, well, you're going to start out well in the game, but towards the end of the game you're going to start getting your ass kicked when the other team figures out what you're doing every single time. So, towards the end of this game you will see me going on the bottom a bit more. You will see me staying back towards the train car a bit more instead of rushing the base every time. That's just so it's a little harder for the other team to predict what I'm going to do. When you do go towards the other team's base, you're probably going to want to go off to your left side, the actual spawn area first, because if you go off to the cliff first, and then you kill all those people, and then you go to the spawn area, they're going to start spawning on you when you kill the people that are in the spawn area, and that's not going to work out too well. Also, in general, just try to stay out of the actual spawn area when you're spawn camping, because the enemies there will likely have spawn shield. Now here you'll see me just pop out and see that guy who still has a spawn shield because he just spawned. Now, I did try to duck back into the train for cover, wait for his spawn shield to expire so I could kill him, but I got lagged back out and he got the kill because of it. You should also try to pay attention to sound. Here I heard that turret going off, I knew where the turret was, so I knew that there had to be an enemy on the stairs. If you pay attention to sound like that, you'll get a better understanding of where your enemies are, and it'll be harder for them to surprise you. But when you do stuff like that, the enemies will probably start calling you a chammer if you do it enough, and you will wind up getting kicked for more games, but you will get a higher KDR, so who really cares? And here you see that I waited for a little bit before shooting him, even though his name was visible. You have to know when, even if the name's visible, you can or can't shoot the player. And at the start, I knew I wouldn't be able to shoot him, so I just kept my crosshairs as close to him as I could. And as soon as he popped up, I shot him. Here, getting back into the base, if possible, always try to use these rocks for cover. I know Bravo base doesn't have the bigger one off to the side of the spawn, so if you're planning on rushing a lot, try to stay on Bravo's side so you can use the rock in Alpha base for better cover. And also, a lot of these people would have known that I was in their spawn, so I just backed out of it for a little bit and then went back in through the stairs. This was just me trying to trick them, make them think I was somewhere else, but I'm guessing those guys were probably spectating the people that I killed while I was on the bottom, so they would have seen me and known I was doing that. When you are going top, it's kind of important to know all the most common sniper positions along the side of the train. There's that blue box that a lot of people like to snipe from, and be careful if you're rushing, there's a lot of people who put turrets there too. Then the cliff is also pretty popular for sniping. If there is a turret near that blue box and it's placed in the right spot, it will be able to shoot you if you're on the stairs, so you will have to pay attention for that. If there is a turret on the stairs, you probably shouldn't go up, because if you do, that turret will take at least half of your health. Also, when rushing on the top, always try to stay to the right side of the train, because on the left side, there's going to be a greater chance that the people still have spawn shield as they pop out from behind the rocks. And you don't really want that, because you won't be able to kill them, and they'll be able to kill you. When you're going into the train, don't just immediately go in and go to the sniper position. There are people, usually low ranks, who will camp in the corners in the back parts of the train car. And if you go in without checking those corners, you can get a kill on you. When you're going into the top, two common camper positions are the one where that guy is just camping, the guy who killed me. Then there's the one immediately to the right of the rock. There are people who will sit in the one to the right of the rock and have a sniper rifle out. They'll just pre-aim the side of the train car. Don't know why they do that, but if it's an all-permitted room, you can easily solve that by just chucking a grenade over the train car towards that area.
Enemy down!
I've gotten as high as a Fantastic with one nade just from doing that before. And here you see an example of the ideal rush. Get in, shoot them all from behind before they even realize I'm there, and then eventually wind up getting the unbull. And You should try to use that box for cover, but it doesn't work every time. It does give you a pretty big blind spot too. If there is someone who crouches at that to the bottom of the, I guess you could call it a hill, by the side of the train tracks, you probably won't be able to see or shoot them, so it's not the best spot to be, but you at least have some cover. There's not really that much I could have done in that last death. I was checking that one camper position, but I checked them in the wrong order, and there's no way I could have known which one that guy was sniping from, or even if there was someone sniping to start with. I always try to get up a little bit higher above the ground so I have a better angle to shoot people who are trying to peek on that cliff. You will see me standing on that ledge on the side of the train car a lot. I don't recommend standing on the railing though, because if you miss that jump you could fall off and wind up killing yourself. If you miss the jump onto the side of the train car, you just go back down to the ground level. No big deal. You should always try to get up onto either the rail or the side of the train car again, preferably the side of the train car, because it gives you a little bit of a height advantage over people who might be peeking on the side of the cliff, and you will have a more visible target and an easier time hitting the shot. You will be a little bit more exposed, but that really doesn't matter as long as you shoot first and you're good at aiming. I will occasionally pop out around the left side of the train car, but I don't like going that far down when I do that. In this specific instance though, I did because I was on the multi and I wanted to see if there was some guy on the cliffside to kill for the ultra and potentially get an even higher kill streak. I've been talking about strategies for most of this video, so I guess it's time to move on to weapons now. I always prefer a one-slot backpack, so just a standard backpack or any of the default upgrades. Primary, I always use a high-accuracy assault rifle like an AK, G36, M14, something like that. Then backpack, I always use a sniper. My favorites are the SIG 50 and the KNT 308, but a few other good ones that you could use would be DSR, FR, F2. I wouldn't recommend an L9 or an L115 though, because the accuracy is too low. If you can get your hands on an L115A3 Ghillie, that would be great. MSR is also pretty good, but all the rare ones tend to tank a lot, especially at longer range. If you're having trouble deciding what sniper to use, well, two main stats that I would go for. I'd use the new version of the post-reboot damage stats. I always want 165.
Enemy down.
And then also the accuracy. I'd prefer the old stats for that because they're more realistic and it's easier to see the differences between the weapons. So to see those, just go to the CA Wiki, go to the page of the sniper you want, and as long as it's 95 or higher, it should be good for Kill Creek. Secondary, that really doesn't matter that much. The only thing I use my pistol for when I play Kill Creek, well, you saw it earlier when I was getting that Umble. I needed those few extra shots to finish the kill streak. And it really doesn't matter what pistol you use for that. I always prefer the USP though. Melee really doesn't matter at all. And support, I always use the M69 HE frag. It's pretty effective to throw any grenade, especially the M69, over the train as you're going in on the top, or in that gap between the tree and the rock if you're going in on the bottom. Assuming, of course, that the other team is camping a bit like they usually are.
Enemy down.
You can probably get 1 or 2 kills with a well-placed grenade there. And here, another pretty good rush, but it ends with a double fail that'll probably wind up sending to top 5 fails. I missed the health pack and forgot how to aim. And a few extra tips and tricks that I forgot to mention earlier. If you are sitting in that little area sticking out from the side of the bridge, that's where you would go if you want to go down the ladder into that thing hanging down from the bottom. If you're just sitting in the area above that, it's possible to shoot through the bottom area of the train car and hit someone who is in a specific spot in the other team's base. I don't think I did that at all in this game, but if you want to see examples of it, I could probably try to get some of those for a later video. Oh, I was actually able to spill up the entire game. I haven't done that before. So you could call this the longest commentary ever, and you can see I got a pretty good score using these strategies.